All right, pre-show shenanigans. Crazy breaking news story that just came out. Everett, why don't you please let us know what exactly just
That's
went
like the
down?
most horrible setup for me for what I was gonna say, but
Yeah, I have no idea
Grant has zero
where
clue.
you're taking this.
This has
So,
been in my noggin for a little bit. I saw the other.
not breaking news. Never mind. My
Yeah,
bad.
no, the breaking news as of like 5 days ago. Um, Breaking news to you. Actually, that's probably a better way to put it.
Okay.
So the other week, we were talking about what you would do for $1 million. And you
Oh
brought that
yes.
up. What
Yep.
jackass stunts we would be willing to do for $1 million. The other day, I saw definitely not the NSA spying on me, listening to my phone conversations, and then putting this into my feed. But I saw the other day somebody said, okay, you get $35 billion. All right. That's the monetary stipulation for doing this. But
Okay.
you know the insane asylum, like white padded rooms, there's just like the one light bulb, no windows, nothing, right? Like those encapsulated rooms.
Yes.
As you are somebody who's formerly lived in one, but like so you're
Like an
familiar.
isolation cell. What
Yeah,
are they
but
called?
it's those like white padded rooms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Like
that
I remember a SpongeBob episode of
yeah,
it.
with
I think
Mrs.
that
Puff.
wraps it up
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. But there's no windows, nothing. You're in that. There's
Yeah.
only like
Nothing.
that top light. So you get $35 billion if you stay in that room for a full year with nobody else, no books, no movies, no media, no games, nothing. Only your person is in that room and whatever food gets dispensed to you and water.
I know
But you get
deep down.
$35 billion. So
I
would you
no,
do
I
it?
know deep down, God no. Like I know deep down the answer is hell no.
No, my
Like,
mental, like, I would
but
not be there when I came out.
as a person who hasn't actually gone through it yet, like I will say yes for now. But
So,
I know by day 3, and I won't even be aware it's day 3. You have no sense of time in there. But by day 3 of actual time, I'll already go insane.
now, if this was Aaron Rodgers' postseason retreat room where underground, then obviously we could do it for $35 billion because he had light in there, even though he said he didn't.
Well, the other thing is, like he could just leave whenever he wants. Like if
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
that's
too,
true.
he can just leave.
That's true.
Now,
Now,
it's not
now
like
somebody
he's forced
somebody did make the
stay.
point. Somebody did make the point. It's like, all right, you're like 20 days in. That's when it gets real hype because then you're not alone in there anymore. You're just starting to trip balls from being in there.
Yeah, no,
for
then
so
you
long.
have a whole crew of friends.
You know
By
the
day 20,
speaking of the SpongeBob
there's
episode,
a party every day in there.
you know the SpongeBob episode where he gets back
Fire in the
no,
brain.
he gets back but he gets back from like the glove world. He's got like the glove candies and he pops them.
Yes.
There's the whole music.
That's like one of the most
scene.
iconic episodes ever.
Right? And he's like
the underground bus thing.
Yeah, but no, this was the one, or maybe it wasn't that episode, but he gets back home and he like pops like the glove candies, and then it's the whole psychedelic dancing routine.
Yes.
That's what would be going on, at least in my head, if that was me.
No, I mean the real answer is no, you would not do that. Like by the time you left the all white room, like you would not even be a person anymore. Like you would go crazy. You go nuts. You would turn into Connor Stallions. So like the answer is no, but because I haven't actually done it yet, like I haven't lived it, The answer is yes for now. You get what I'm saying?
For now, yeah. And then once you get 3 days in, then you're like, fuck this. I'm leaving.
But quick reminder, I won't even be aware that it's been 3 days. Like
you're not doing the tallies on the side of the wall whenever you kind of think that it's been a passage of time. And when you do like 5 tallies and it's actually been 12 hours.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can estimate, but you at the end of the day, you have no idea. There is no clock in there. There is no one's telling you the time.
Well, you could do the whole MacGyver thing where it's like I get my food every interval, so I know it has to be lunchtime right now.
Well, that was one thing I'm thinking of, but like there's no guarantee that with 100%.
Oh no, somebody would intentionally just like offset
that's
the
what
times
I'm saying.
You get food just to mess with your
literally
brain.
that's what I'm saying. Like there's
and now
no
this
way
is
to
a
verify.
whole new level to the Mr. Beast challenges because
Well, okay, very real quick while we're on that topic, of all the Mr. Beast challenges I saw, like the one thing that I would be extremely down to participate was that Squid Game thing.
No, that seems sick.
I'd be so down to do that. Like, so unbelievably game for that. But when I see like keep your hand on this Lamborghini and you win it, like I know.
Oh no,
I'd
your
be
ADHD is
so soon.
so bad.
I'd be out. So I like unintentionally get
You
myself.
like go to
out.
scratch your
I
nose.
wouldn't realize. Yes. Yeah. No. Like I wouldn't give up. No. I'd accidentally take my hand off. And be like, shit. No one saw that, right? It's like, no, we have 49 cameras directly on you at all times. It's like, all right, tried my best there. But yeah, like when I think of those Mr. Beast challenges, like I think they got like a private island now. Might have to check.
Somebody wanted private island.
Previously owned that private island.
Somebody wanted chocolate factory.
Oh yeah, it does some like Willy Wonka shit too. I think it's very funny though when he's just like giving away 3,000 cars and all the comments are like, why didn't he give away 5,000? That piece of shit. It's like,
he's like building wells in Africa and they're like, the fuck are we doing here? Like, you can't be doing that. What a shithole.
Well, like, I mean, just begging for attention. It's like, what? Like,
dude, he just saved like 7 communities in a third world country. All right.
I mean, that guy, Mr. Beast, I mean, because he runs the platform that this is going up onto, we love you.
Yeah,
we love
you. Well, no, I mean, but we actually do. Like, we do love you.
You are my biggest inspiration in the world, other than.
Can you be my dad for the father job day at school?
Yeah, bring your
father to work or
day.
to class day.
But, I mean, that'd be an interesting day. Bring all the parents in.
Like, what do you do for work? Yeah, I just give away money.
Yeah, literally.
And you know what? Speaking of which, here you guys go. Just. Yeah, start tossing out money. All right.
Yeah, Belfort style, but all right. On to the show. Packed episode today. Packed episode today. But without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 170. Deshaun Watson is out for the season. Josh Dobbs is still the king of Minnesota. I don't have these headlines planned out. We might talk about the Dodgers today. Probably not. Maybe. You know what? Actually, let's start off with this. Are the NBA in-season courts the worst things ever invented in the history of sports? Yes or no?
I'm going to be honest. I think the in-season tournament might just be the worst thing in sports
ever invented.
Right now. Yeah. I still don't understand what is going on.
Everett, did you hear the Clippers have already been eliminated from winning their group in the playing group stage?
It's been like 2.5 weeks.
2 group stage games so far. I think there's only been 2 group stage games played. They're already eliminated. I don't even know how that's possible. I think they have 4 more games. Like I genuinely think it's like technically they could come in first. Maybe the computers are like, no, there's no way they beat the Suns here. So I
have seen some of the courts, and it's like, you know how like 80%.
The problem is the middle stripe.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but you also know how like 80% of like the City Connect jerseys just look horrible. It's like they took the designer.
City Connect? We talking MLB City Connect?
Oh no, NBA? They do like NBA City like theme jerseys.
Yes.
It's like they took the designer for those and was like, here, you get to be in charge of all the courts for this.
No, like it genuinely looks like whatever owner of the teams, they asked their
I remember
11-year-old, can you design a court?
I was at a bar. I remember I was at a bar and I was watching, they had a game on. I'm like, I didn't like, I looked up and it was the Nuggets game. And then I was like, I looked closer at it. I'm like, the court is blue. The full entire court is blue with a yellow stripe running straight through the middle. My eyes are absolutely disgusted having to see that.
Horrifying.
Like I vomited in my mouth a little bit.
Like I forget which team it was. I think there was a team out there where they had like a yellow 3-point line, and it was just so hard to see, distinguish, and just see.
No,
and
like I'm a fan right now,
this is just a pain in the ass.
If I'm a fan right now, I'm intentionally not buying tickets to those games just so I don't have to stare at that for hours.
Yeah, it's like I think they're doing like Tuesdays and Fridays are the play-in
But like
game
also
days.
also
I
let's
don't
just
know.
say this. I
I
get
don't
you want to make
know.
it like an event, so you want to do something different, but like you haven't put the finals logo on the court for like, and maybe they did it last season, but they didn't do it for like
I don't
years.
think they did it last year.
So
Yeah.
they haven't done it in years, but you're gonna change the full court for an end season tournament nobody asked for.
Like if I could be honest, I remember the Warriors Celtics finals, their NBA finals, just like scoreboard and shit looked like the NBA finals. And I was like,
Yeah, no, that's also probably
this is
why
what it
we've been
looks
like the
like.
last couple of years. We've been like, this just doesn't. We ranked the other day. We were like, I texted you. I was like, I think that this is what the playoff.
Honestly, let's get into that.
And the NBA ranks like was dead last. I think consensusly we ended up having it last.
Well, actually, we could actually get into this other debate that you were bringing up to me a couple of weeks ago about MLB versus NBA popularity. But real quick, in terms of just the playoffs in general, if we're just going to look at each of the major four sports' most recent playoffs, so forget like past 10 years, just the most recent one.
This past seasons.
And we were to rank them all, like NBA last.
100%. MLB second to last.
Were the worst games. MLB second to last.
NHL is in second, and NFL
just
first.
By nature, and like NHL's in second, just by nature of the sport.
Yeah.
And NFL, well, we don't really watch NHL, but like NFL happens to come in first, even though we had an NFC championship game where one team couldn't pass. Like still,
I will say,
comes in first.
I will say, I mean, one is just the Super Bowl exists, and two, as the reason why I have NHL in second is because for the small span of time.
Well, I agree that they're definitely over.
While the Wild was in the playoffs, NHL might be one of the most electrifying playoff experiences to watch. The everything from the actual performance of it to I have to stay up till 2 a.m. to watch this, and I'm pounding 3 Red Bulls to get through the game. Everything's
also like
electrifying.
Overtime hockey is way too electric.
God. It's so
like golden goal.
Oh my God.
Way too electric. So like, hockey, there's a lot of factors that put them at number one. But, we could debate the MLB NBA thing actually. When you were talking about how you feel like MLB is more popular, NBA is less popular, and
it's a hot take. I'm gonna give it to it. It's a hot take. Yeah. So I'll explain. This came from a conversation that one of my friends and I were having. It was one of those, those night philosophical conversations that people tend to have, right? And the argument made was, for us.
It's like that meme. It's like, I wonder what he's thinking about. It's the guy sleeping in bed and he's like debating, like, has the MLB taken over
the NBA? No, but all right. So let's think about the NBA in the Black Eyed Pea generation terms, all right? We grew up watching it when we had all these huge rivalries. Like it always felt like not necessarily that somebody was going to literally throw hands, but like there was going to be blood spilled on the court.
No, I mean,
in some cases, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And Draymond Green's still taking that literally now, but
boy, was that just out of nowhere. Gobert didn't even start shit. Draymond's like, oh, I have a chance to choke out Rudy. Yes,
I'm taking it.
Choke him out. We're going WWE.
But obviously we had like all these rivalries growing up, and we had all these name players, which obviously we're talking about sports and players are still rotating out. We're starting to see that in the NFL right now too. A lot of these big players, that generation of quarterbacks is gone, right? And so the generation of basketball is starting to change, but as it's changed, we have had less rivalries. The playoffs kind of feel a little bit not more gimmicky, but also it just more like it's not as like hard. Like I'm not like on the edge of my seat watching it. Like I frankly don't really care as much. Like because there's not any of these rivalries.
I would say for the NBA, like compared to regular season, like you could see a notable difference in just the effort in the playoffs.
No, 100%.
And so I do appreciate how it's like, oh, this is actual basketball.
No, yeah,
like
100%.
Now.
But that's also kind of the thing where like for the NBA, we were also talking about like the general fan experience. Like if you're at a game in person, for me as somebody, like if I'm at a basketball game, I'm going to enjoy it for like a little bit. But after like an hour into the game or whatever, after halftime, depending on how close the game is, I'm going to be pretty I'm going to be more bored watching people just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In comparison to the MLB, where if I'm at a game, right, the whole point of an MLB game experience in person isn't as much of watching the whole game, but it's you're there with friends. Like you don't really have to be an MLB fan to like be there. Like there are a lot of people who will just go because it's like an experience. Like you're there, like you're talking to people. It's a little bit more of a slow game. So from a fan perspective, in that manner, that's where like okay, the MLB is starting to go better because let's say for reference, you don't watch sports. Like you're somebody who doesn't watch sports, right? And your group of friends is going like, okay, what can we do tonight? And we're like, oh, the Dodgers are playing. Why don't we go to a Dodgers game? You're more likely to be like, yeah, I'll go to a Dodgers game because I can just be there. I can talk and whatever. I don't really need to understand it as much. Then basketball, if you go to a basketball game, it's way more fast paced. You're just kind of there. Like it's a little bit harder to
I
be
get
a
what
fan
you
of that
mean
experience.
from that angle to that degree. I understand. My one somewhat counter is that from that perspective, there are some people out there who are just like baseball is the most boring fucking sport.
No, and I think that's not like an abnormal thing that people say. And that's completely fair, but that's also why like for everybody who's like who watches baseball, I think it's synonymous, it's unanimous that baseball is way better in person than it is on TV as an experience to watch. Way better. Yeah. And because of that, for the sport specifically,
on TV is pretty boring.
For a sport specifically, you would want your in-person experience to be better than your TV experience. That's how you get more money. And for an NBA situation, it's kind of the opposite.
I think it depends. It depends where you are. Like bad seats in an NBA stadium, I think you're better off watching on TV.
100%.
I think for MLB, I mean, I've enjoyed sitting in the nosebleeds.
You and I have been in the
outfield, but we are weirdos, so we got to keep that in mind. We are.
But
I
do think that in the MLB right now, there's a lot more rivalries.
Shit. One thing I want to say is though, courtside seats at an NBA game is better than any type of seat.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah. No, I know.
All right, but we're not talking about that right now. But
no. I get
the MLB right now has much more like rivalry situations and have a lot more like overall name players like feeling to it. Meaning like,
what do you mean by that?
Every team has players for the most part that are like name players. And in the NBA, I don't necessarily have the same.
Definitely is star driven.
I'm not saying it's not star driven, but I'm saying like not.
Well, I'm thinking if just a cultural perspective, like let's just like literally, I'm talking like just a typical like girl in college right now. They are way more likely to know NBA players.
Oh no, that's 100% true, and I would say that's more likely for most people.
NBA
in general.
Players are the most popular athletes in any American sport. If just follower count wise,
yeah,
like but just pure followers.
But also like for the MLB, like it's kind of no matter what the matchup is, like there are teams like you could have like we saw this the Dodgers lose to the Diamondbacks.
I am with you from the perspective of a in-game at the game experience.
Yes.
I agree. Like I am slightly biased though, because I just like the MLB more than NBA. My one slight counter to that, and I'm just now talking numbies now. There's twice as many home MLB games as NBA games just for a franchise.
True, but that's still a part of the
opportunities to go to MLB
that's
games.
Still like, but the thing is, you can't
NBA
count
games.
You can't count that against it because if you want to do that, the NFL is a 17 game season. It's still number one. So
no, well, what do you mean number one in terms of like team revenue, like ticket sales?
In terms of our like, if you're ranking the sports like most enjoyable sport to watch or event to be at, I still think personally, like I think I have the most fun at an MLB event in person out of all the major sports. But like, I
do not really enjoy being in person at football games, to be completely honest.
I do enjoy being at an NFL game more than I enjoy being at a basketball game in person.
I would also say I haven't been to an NBA game in a while. And like there was a stretch of time where I was going to some Laker games quite frequently, but you know, that was when like Dwight Howard was the star player. Like Jody
But
Meeks
no,
was getting
like in
30 minutes a
general,
night.
in general,
Not the greatest era.
in general, I do think that MLB right now is on the up, and the games are moving faster and stuff. And I do think that the NBA, the MLB is going up, but with the NBA,
I would say I agree with you that the NBA, considering where they were like a
yes, it
decade
has gone
ago,
down.
I would say for us, we would say that, but more
it
so
might
just
be different
it
for somebody
hasn't
who's
grown as much as we thought.
true.
Like
But
just that.
I'm also
Like,
going to say this, and we're not going to get into this specifically, but the NBA also has changed like their market a bit in the way that they market themselves. Because
well,
before,
yeah, they're trying to get younger people.
Well, not
like,
just that,
the
but
old
like
heads are already going to.
Well, let me finish.
So.
Before obviously we'd see all these Sports Center commercials. We had the Christmas like jingle commercial with them shooting. Like they'd have all those kind of commercials. Now we don't really see any commercials. We had Kobe commercial. We don't really see any commercials. On top of that, they're much more like woke than any other sport, and like in general, which I do also think is like.
No, I mean
a thing going on when it comes to the popularity.
As an Asian American, it's quite funny how don't hear peep when it comes to China, but they'll take a stance on every other political issue. It's just quite funny. But yeah, NBA that hey, they got shit to deal with right now. Okay, their media rights deal with ESPN expires like next year. ESPN, I don't know where they're gonna get the money to buy that. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens with the NBA. But I think if we're just talking the in-game fan experience, I can get on board with it. I can get on board with that take. Like if we're just talking overall popularity, you just can't say it. But if we're talking in-game experience, you know what? I'm with it. I'm with it. You were bringing up maybe some MLB stuff. I literally just Googled top free agents in the MLB, looking at them. In terms of like some names, that I've heard around for Dodgers or just some other like teams in general, like I'm just hearing we're all in on Shohei right now.
This Shohei guy. And Yamamoto.
Yes, him as well. So right now we, as you like to say, we're assembling the Infinity Stones right now, getting the gauntlet assembled right now. But at the end of the day, Ohtani, kind of like the Texas A&M head coaching job, Ohtani's going to be the first domino to fall, and then there will be reactions afterwards.
So do you think Yamamoto waits to see where Ohtani is before he decides to sign somewhere?
Not even necessarily that, but like Yamamoto might get a large, actually, yes, because teams might be willing to give him larger contracts after they realize they missed out on Shohei. And so,
I mean, look, if I'm the Dodgers right now, I honestly think I would much rather miss on Shohei and sign Yamamoto.
What, like,
because you know my fear,
uncertainty.
You know my fear surrounding Shohei, specifically just not even specifically, just because of the injury he has right now and his age. So, I mean, there was a point we were talking about him being the greatest baseball player of all time. We have a TikTok clip about that. So
I still think that's pretty still on the table.
No, it still is. But my concern though is just, he's about to be 31 and he's going off Tommy John. So either he's not going to play for the entire season or he's only going to bat. He's not going to pitch either way.
He will turn 30 on July 5th next year. So mid-season, he'll turn 30. So I know he won't pitch this year. Like, I get that. And that's where, like, the dual value comes in. But regardless of the injury, he's still, I would say, for the past 3 seasons, he's been the best hitter in the MLB. Like, the number 1 hitter in the MLB. Injuries aside, if we just go on a per-inning basis, I would say he's, like, the 10th, 9th best starter.
I'm just concerned over... If we're gonna pay
I understand the value though.
If we're gonna pay
I'm
him,
hearing it, but some teams might be offering 450, 500. I think that is too much.
It's if we're paying him the all-star like money for him playing 2 positions essentially. It's going to be the question of when he comes back to pitching, how good is he going to be? Because Tommy John's for a pitcher is not a it's not like you can come back and you're going to be the same pitcher every time. Like most we've seen before
Yeah,
that
I
it's
mean,
been fine, but
seeing
also
the
we've also
Dodger
seen
Tommy
where
John boys, all 50 of them, like I have no idea how that surgery works anymore. No idea. Like I've seen examples of guys just careers ruined afterwards, and then I mean Walker just had it again, but when he came back from his first TJ, lights out, still throwing 3 triple digits up there. So I have no idea. I have no idea how Tommy John works. I just know Elatrosh got the boys right. Elatrosh also doing Deshaun's shoulder today. Like he's the best man in the business. He did Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. I don't think he did Kirk, right? Didn't you say there was someone else who did Kirk?
Kirk's was done by the Vikings in-house.
That's messed up, Neil. Messed up, man. But Shohei's gonna be that first domino to fall. I think 400 for him. I think I'd give it to him.
Now you did
I'm
also see that the Blake Snell and Josh Hader declined the Padres qualifying offer, right?
pretty much everyone declined the qualifying offer because they're all just 20 million 1-year deals. Yeah, that makes sense. That added up. Like Hader could be a guy we go after. Honestly, like that wouldn't be nuts. Sonny Gray could be a guy we could get for like a 1 or 2 year deal. He's one name. Montgomery is another name. I've heard a lot of Nola and Snell. Now Nola will probably be 5 years, 100 to 125. So probably not, definitely not worth it. But Snell, we might be able to get him for like 2 years, 50. 2 years,
So
40.
your homework now is going to be doing an offseason wish list for the Dodgers.
Yeah, so just an overall, I can get specific names later, just overall position breakdown. The one thing I'd have Shohei as the number 1. I want to get him in. And if he is available, then he will be DHing for us. So as a result, JD Martinez, we don't need him and we can let him go. And that's all right. So we have that DH in place. Will Smith still catching. We did re-sign Muncy already. Freddie at first. We can maybe have Mookie at second. Lux at short. Left field, a name I've been hearing is Teoscar Hernandez. He's a righty bat, hits lefties really well. But the issue is we have a plethora of righty outfielders like Chris Taylor, Kike.
Only thought that I had was we keep Kike at short, not the permanent starter, obviously, wouldn't be every single day, but keep Kike in short, move Lux to left field, sign another, like maybe bring back Rosario or something, and then we can have Lux in left, and we'd have to figure out what second base is. I remember there was something I was telling you where I was like, why don't we go after a center fielder? It was, why don't we go after Belly, bring Belly back? We can put him in center, move.
My one issue is I think he might be pretty expensive, and it's like I love Belly. I love Bellinger. Don't need to make that any clearer. I mean, in terms of just having a lefty outfielder, yeah, like I'm with it from that angle. And like
there is just the issue.
Oh my God.
There is just the issue that we're moving between, because we didn't have a permanent second baseman, so we were moving between Mookie between second and right field. So if we got Belly, you could put Belly in center field. I think
there's a chance Mookie might just move to second base.
But that's what I'm saying. If we got Belly, you could put Belly in center field, move Outman to right field. You would have Lux or Kike or whoever in left, or CT in left field, and you move Mookie to second permanently.
Yeah, we could do that. I personally think Lux at short is gonna be a good play. Like I need the shortstop to be good at playing shortstop.
Yeah, which I would say
need to be good
they
at.
They probably will end up rotating between Kike and Lux at short, and then CT and Lux will rotate an outfield, and Kike will also rotate an outfield.
Yeah, like we'll see what they do with that other outfield spot. I do think it is key to sign a lefty outfielder. I think that is a very key priority in terms of the hitters. Obviously, we need starting help. Relievers, I mean, would it be nice to add a Hader? Sure. Financially, it's probably not the smartest decision. So, I mean, we'll probably just go around getting guys for like 2-3 million each, and they'll pan out. But yeah, I'd say, many things going on, many things to.
All right. Do you have anything for college football? Or are we going straight to the NFL?
I don't really have anything for college football. We can kind of gloss over.
Yeah, next week's the big week.
Yeah, next
week's the big week.
Yeah, and NFL will have to be put on hold slightly for next week. But yeah, okay, we can get into NFL. You want to do games first, or do our quick little bits first? I did just want to point out Deshaun Watson obviously out for the year.
Yes.
Is that the worst? Is that the worst contract?
So I don't even know. I think that's
just in terms of the lack of team
right
mobility.
now, based on the way that things have gone to this point. Let's say it continues. I think it's an argument for worst trade ever. And I think it's really hard to top.
What exactly was the trade that went? Let me look it up.
Pull it up. I think it's kind of hard to top the Herschel Walker trade. But this trade is pretty egregious, considering what has just happened and what who the Texans have gotten out of it and who what the Browns have done with it. So I mean, if I can find this.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the full on trade.
I'm just getting advertisements after advertisements right now. It's kind of frustrating. Now it's like destroying my computer. 3 first-round picks. I think there's something else in there too, wasn't there?
Like a 6th or something in there, but 3 firsts.
But essentially, those turned into, I believe, Will Anderson, and CJ. Right.
I think CJ was their pick. Will Anderson, they traded away 2 of those first to get him.
Possibly. So what
maybe
this
it's
says,
Will Anderson and still one other to be determined pick.
Could be. But either way, like for getting no value for him,
look at it from the Browns' perspective, how their team is declined,
especially given the circumstances he was in when he got traded. I
actually saw a fun little point this morning. Very low key, DTR's preseason run kind of screwed over the Browns season because they traded away Dobbs. And so boy, would they like to have him.
Interestingly enough, so I saw that, and they obviously traded him to the Cardinals. The Vikings originally traded a 5th-round pick or something to the Cardinals. The Cardinals used that pick on Clayton Tune, which is why Dobbs got traded to the Vikings, because he was starting that week. It
all comes full circle. You're telling me it all adds up. That's beautiful. That's
so mind games, right? But no,
that makes me feel a little special.
That contract. So he's going to get paid $63 million every year for the next 3 years. They restructured his contract this year, so it was $9 million against the books. So they wanted to go all in. Obviously, he has played like 3 games because
what is the cap, like 250?
Like 280, something like that. I don't know, something like that.
But still, that's just a large chunk.
It's like a solid quarter of the overall cap, and to play 2 games on a year that you restructured the contract, and then have to pay him 63 over the next 3 years, like the team is going to have to get blown up. Like you're not going to be able to sustain that. And I don't know what Deshaun Watson's, because nobody's going to take on that contract, and nobody's going to take him on if he doesn't play. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to do. I mean, fuck it. I guess the trade deadline's already happened. You can't do anything. Yeah. You're just stuck.
And he's injured. You can't trade an injured player in the NFL, I think. So
yeah, I don't think so.
But
we'll rip through these lists real quick, so that way we can just talk about the games. So we'll start with Bills in season wish list.
Ooh, boy.
Hope Stephon Diggs stops being a diva. Hope Joe Brady is the chosen one. Hope Sean McDermott stops calling stupid defensive plays. Hope James Cook is fully unleashed. And hopefully stop playing down to the competition and just be consistent.
Yeah, with the Buffalo Bills, yeah, frauds. I'm kind of disappointed in Fire Station 15 right now. But
I
yeah,
don't think
like
that they need the siren though, because it's just established.
yeah, that is true. It's I guess they had a window recently. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did. The Chiefs went down and scored a touchdown with what? Or not a
13
touchdown, a field
seconds
goal with like
left.
13. Yeah, like
I saw it's like the
ridiculous.
Bills in
Ridiculous.
13 seconds are not good. It's like they have like 4 losses when the clock's at 13 seconds, but
Yeah, for them it's
not great. Next is the Titans in season wish list. All right.
okay.
Unleash Tajay Spears, hashtag Tajay time. Hope Will Levis keeps balling out. Get more turnovers on defense, improve third down defense, and fuck it, D Hop's down there somewhere. Just let the ball
Yeah.
fly to D Hop. Let me just get the clean version real quick.
Oh.
Just throw the ball to D Hop. He's down there somewhere. There you go.
Yeah, what 2 weeks ago was it? Will Levis's debut, and
yeah, 4 tutties.
Yeah, they were just running the fuck it D Hop down there somewhere offense. Yeah, it's a pretty good offense. You know, like Kyler was doing that when he was in Arizona. Deshaun did that when he was with them, and
it works.
It
works.
We have evidence that it works. Okay, we have track records of this. So, when in doubt, air it out to D Hop.
I am really curious what the fuck happened with the AJ Brown trade, because I'm trying to remember what they got for him, but I don't think that it's worked out.
Treylon Burks.
Oh, they were like, we saw the Vikings do this, we can do this too.
No, like literally, Treylon Burks was like the AJ Brown comp out of college, and they were like, oh, we can just have AJ Brown back on his rookie deal again. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, doesn't quite work that way.
And then finally, coach of the year candidates at the midseason point. We're gonna do 1 to 10. I'd say is better, because the names at 10 don't really matter like that late. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. 1 to 10. Dan Campbell, D'Amico Ryans, Kevin O'Connell, Mike McDaniel, Mike Tomlin, Robert Saleh, Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy, John Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I'm still kind of thinking that maybe D'Amico might potentially have that number 1 spot.
I think that it's a very potentially
very close.
It's very close. We were talking about the MVP for CJ Stroud, obviously, and that they had to make the playoffs. I don't think that they have to make the playoffs for D'Amico to be that, to be it. And obviously, the coach of the year has like typically gone to a rookie coach for the most part. Like it's a normal thing, unless like something's crazy that's happening. I just think Dan Campbell right now is quantifying as something crazy. And obviously people had the expectation that he was going to do well this year, but I do think for the fact that it's the Lions and they're like the 2nd seed right now.
Yeah. Like one thing that while you were just bringing up just end of the year awards, I was listening to this show the other day. They were bringing up comeback player of the year award. That's got to be the strangest award like given out, right? Like comeback player of the year award, like in the NBA, they have like most improved, which essentially just says you were shit the year before, and now you average double-digit points.
In the NFL, they're assuming some player every year is gonna fucking tear their shit and be out for the season.
Like at this point, like it's essentially just a comeback from injury award.
I'm just saying, next year, the amount of potential candidates, because we have like 9 backup quarterbacks playing this year because people have just been out.
Well, so there's that. There's like, if Aaron Rodgers comes back this year, can you win comeback player of the year for getting injured in that season?
Same season. That's uncharted territory. But technically speaking, is the does the postseason count as part of that process?
I think technically yes, because they don't give out. Do they give out MVP Pro Bowl week or after the Super Bowl? It's after Super Bowl, right? Or is it Pro Bowl
week. It's like it's that Super Bowl weekend before the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Ooh. So if that's the case, it's going to be much tougher for Aaron to win. Much tougher for Aaron to
I
win.
do think, though, if he plays a regular season game, I just also think that like that would just carry over to the next season. But the issue is then you
he
have
wins
like
comeback player of the year next year for coming back the season before.
But the issue is then if you're coming off an Achilles, then you're also going to come off. You have Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles and like all these other factors. So
well, there's so many other quarterbacks too. But
Yeah.
I'm just thinking though, like the Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't come back this season, and it's crazy, I'm now assuming
I
he's
think that it
coming
would
back
count
this
for
year.
this year. I think it would count for this
Yeah.
season. I think it would have
I think
to.
it would.
Because
I think
that's
it would.
remember last year, Brian Robinson, who was out for 5 weeks, right? He was a candidate for it in season, coming back from a gunshot
Oh,
wound.
that is
So
true.
I would say then yes, Aaron Rodgers does count for this season.
Who won it last year?
It might have been Brian Robinson.
That would make sense.
Let's look it up.
That would make sense.
Gino won it.
They wrote me off, didn't write back. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes okay.
Okay, all right. Let's get into the games for this week. I had 6 wins last week.
I went 7-7, and I was not looking forward to getting to this part.
No, this was my worst week of the season by far.
Wow. I did not expect you to say that. I was expecting you to be like solid 11-3 week out of me.
Nope.
Last week you kind of messed with me a little bit with Chad, but I thought you were about to announce you had a perfect week last week, and I was like, okay, let's start with NFL.
No, it started off poorly. I took the Panthers and then the Patriots and then the Bengals, so we went 0-3 in the starting slate.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to recover from that. It's gonna be tough to bounce back.
So I have to read the games off. This will be the second time all season that I've done this. So here we go. Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bears, Lions, Chargers, Packers, Raiders, Dolphins, Giants, Commanders, Cowboys, Panthers, Titans, Jaguars, Cardinals and Texans, Bucks and 49ers, Jets and Bills, Seahawks and Rams, Vikings in Denver versus the Broncos, and Eagles and Chiefs.
Yeah, like I would say pretty entertaining matchups this week for the bye week teams.
That Raiders Dolphins
really
matchup is going to be really crazy.
I'm just saying, like the fact the Raiders are 5-5 right now, like give me the Raiders to cover that one. Give me them to cover.
We're not a betting podcast. We're not a betting podcast. I need to clarify.
That is true. That is true.
As of right now, we are not a betting podcast as of this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go picks. I hate this Thursday night.
So you're gonna get the advantage of hearing my picks this time.
I personally, whenever I go second, I do not change based on what you do.
No, I don't either. I just kind of rip what I got.
In theory, I could be.
Yeah, it could be. All right.
Could be.
Bengals, Steelers, Lions, Chargers, Dolphins, Commanders, Cowboys, fucking Jags, Texans, 49ers, Bills, Seahawks, fucking Skull Nation, baby. All right, Dobbs Mania and the Chiefs.
Okay, I want to immediately after I give my picks, I want to talk about Vikings Broncos first. I am going to be on the Vikings, but I want to talk that first because the line set for that game does not make any sense to me.
Oh no, but we talked about this last episode. But
I know, but we need to investigate more. We need to do more because I don't understand it.
I'm more than happy. Let's fucking do it.
I hate that, but for this Bengals Ravens, I hate that both teams lost last week. That pisses me off so much. But
which one is worse?
Ravens, Browns, Lions, bolt up. Dolphins, Commanders, Cowboys, Jaguars, Texans, and I feel like I might be jinxing Coleridge here. Niners, Bills, Rams. I'm off the Seahawks this week. I am off. Vikings, Eagles.
So I think the Eagles Chiefs one, that's kind of like a whatever, like literally they're both vibe picks. So it literally could go either way. There's no dignified vibe for that. Interesting. You took the Browns. The Browns defense is cooking, but after seeing what happened,
DTR.
He started the game before the season.
Started the game before the season.
He has started a game before.
Yes, I do know. Did not go well. Did not go well. May have had like 29 passing yards, like what JJ McCarthy did against Penn State. So not the greatest thing.
Both offenses are going to be horrible.
Well, so this is just going to be so entertaining to watch because like it'll be first team to 10 points wins. And I trust the Browns defense to get a scoop and score more than the Steelers.
You do know that Kenny Pickett has turned the ball over least of any quarterback this season.
That's okay with me.
Okay. All right. Other thing, Seahawks Rams for that game. Matt Stafford still isn't back. And I also just think at this point,
it's just the Seahawks. I've been watching them a lot.
No,
I
don't disagree with you, but I'm also thinking about Sean McVay. And Sean McVay might be doing that low-key dark horse tank right now for Caleb.
That is also true. I also do know historically, like Sean McVay has had the Seahawks number.
They beat them week 1 this season. When we were all like, what the fuck is going on? But I do think
Puka had like 90 targets.
I do think that though, like, this is kind of one of those series that they split.
Yeah,
like,
I would
vibe
say
wise, that's
just
a
in
vibe.
general, you should probably pick most divisional rivals to split.
Yes.
In general, you should just usually go with that. I don't know. For this one, I'm just feeling Rams here. I feel like this is kind of a game where people will overlook the Rams, write them off, kind of like what happened with Geno. I think Geno has written the Rams off, and we'll see if they write back. We'll see. Okay, Vikings Broncos though. Broncos are 2.5-point favorites, Everett.
Oh, it's gone up. It was originally 2.
So I'm trying to I'm trying to put my mind in the head of a sports book.
Their expectation right now is because the Broncos just knocked off the Bills, that they're a hot team and that they can perform well versus good competition. They just forget that competition is Josh Allen, who throws like 6 interceptions a game. But when it comes to this, you're like, okay, it's like playing against like the streak. Like, okay, Josh Dobbs is on the streak right now, so we're gonna bet against the streak. Like, it's gonna have to end at some point. That's basically what they're doing. Now, if Justin Jefferson comes back, okay, maybe it shifts a little bit. Also,
how confident are you in that happening?
This week, I'm like, it's like 50-50. Next week, I'd say it's like 80-20.
50-50. That's better than what I thought.
But also, if you look at our injury report right now, we have like 9 guys on it. Jordan Hicks is out, and he's kind of been our like center man on defense, and he's been playing really well. He's on IR now. Anthony Barr's back, but it's still on short-term notice, so that's kind of an issue. And we just have a lot of nagging injuries, which is a little bit problematic. But this is a rivalry game for the Vikings. Nothing to do with the Broncos. Love the Broncos. Love Broncos Nation. All right.
But
fuck you, Sean Payton. So anybody who's a Vikings fan fucking despises him the same way I hate Lane Kiffin. So it's kind of a stick it to him kind of game just because of Sean Payton being there. And Mr. Unlimited has been playing pretty well this season. I think that's kind of gone under the radar how well Russ has actually done this year, especially compared to last year. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I just am expecting the Vikings to win and to cover that spread pretty handedly.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that they have Denver as favorites here. I just find that crazy.
Pat Surtain obviously is going to do probably a good job against Jordan Addison. If Justin's back, I'd expect Justin Jefferson to cook his shit. But Hawkinson playing through a rib injury,
And
kind of
also,
an issue.
Dobbs likes Hawk.
So they practice in the offseason together. Fun fact. But if the Vikings decide to actually go with Ty Chandler at RB1 for once, like they should have done the entire season, I would be a lot more high on the expectations for this offense because they'd get more explosive plays. You can rely on the run game to set up play action passes. And Alexander Madison might be able to be a goal line back. But if you keep using Alexander Madison, he gets -5 yards on plays that Ty Chandler would get 6. So it doesn't make sense to me. And they were talking about how his play is like great things happen every time he touches the ball. Then I'm still questioning why they don't let him touch the ball. So
it's a good question. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, that's the summary of that. And I like going down the stretch here for the Vikings. Broncos, Bears, Raiders, all very easily winnable games. We have 6 wins right now. We could be at 9-4 by that point. We play the Bengals. So it's about building momentum right now. 2 away games. You're in Mile High. It's a Monday night game without Kirk Cousins. So we won't hear about that stupid fucking narrative.
That is true.
Which, by the way, he disproved multiple times in his Vikings career. And the last time the Vikings played the Broncos was in Minnesota. I believe it was 2 seasons ago, and they trailed the game 0-20 at half. Teams were 0-99 when trailing by 20+ points at halftime before that game. After that game, they were 1-99. The Vikings came back and won.
So you're telling me that there's maybe 2 teams out of 100 that have ever done that. One of them is your Vikings, and the other is the Jaguars against the Chargers.
Yeah, they were losing 0-27. They were losing 0-27.
Well, they got a field goal at the end of half, so it doesn't count. But it was 27-0 with like 2 minutes.
Oh, so then maybe it counts. Maybe it counts. But that's the state of the Vikings game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on you guys this week. Jay Jetta's back or not. I don't care if he's playing or not. I'm still on you guys. But real quick I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Chargers. They suck. Like, more so, I could ask you a quick little Packers question. Well, actually, more so, I'm just going to let you know now, like, when Jordan Love puts up 400 yards this weekend and 5 touchdowns, he's not good. Okay. Remember who he's playing. Remember that.
Oh, no, I know he's not good now. It was just the first 2 weeks that was a problem.
Just had to remind you, like, he's going to look great. He will. It's okay. It's okay.
Was that your question?
Well, that was what I wanted to tell you. Just a reminder.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Question-wise, Packers, what would you say is the strength of their team just from one position group? It could be D-line. It could be like O-line. Maybe Jordan Love is a strength. Maybe the quarterback room is the strength. Running, like, I don't know. What would you say is their most feared position group?
Bold question, because I don't know if any of them are really feared. Probably running back.
I was thinking them or D-line.
It's just, well, I guess if you count Rashawn Gary as a D lineman.
Yeah, I kind of count him and Kenny Clark. He's still there, right?
Yeah, he's still there. Forget that he exists, by the way.
It's a UCLA. That's all I know.
But yeah, no, I'd probably say running backs. And I got torched for this when I was doing an RB ranking, like just TikTok random kind of post. I said that Aaron Jones has not played that well since he's been back and he's been injured for most of the year, so I can't really rate him. And we were like, you don't know what you're talking about. Aaron Jones has been doing fine. Dude, he had like 30 rushing yards last week on like 16 carries. I would not say that that's good. So, I mean, I would say by like talent on paper perspective, it's the running backs, but performance this year, you'd probably have to go with the D-line.
Yeah. But I mean, that one's gonna be a shit fest. Okay, actually, we could.
You want to talk about a shit fest? Cowboys and Panthers.
Oh, God, yeah, no, not gonna.
Bryce Young might be murdered on live television.
Oh, Micah is. Oh, boy. Wow, that is yeah, no, they're going to have a quick whistle. A lot of roughing the passers in that game. They're going to have to protect Bryce. But real quick, we could talk this Eagles Chiefs, this Kelsey rematch. I'm just
Taylor
excited.
Swift. It's the Kelsey Swift Bowl.
Oh shit. Yes, that literally DeAndre Swift. I forgot. This could be a big game though. I feel like I went Eagles kind of just to spite the Chiefs, not gonna lie. But like,
yeah, so we both went opposite because I spite the Eagles and you spite. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
We're quite simple minded if you really think about it. Yeah. But yeah, for that one, no, I don't have a read on that one.
Look, I'm going to just say
game.
The Chiefs, for me, it was at home. This is also at home. But for the fact the Chiefs beat the Dolphins in a game where, yes, the Dolphins haven't played well versus good teams this year, but I would say on paper, that's the best offense in the NFL. If you're containing that offense, I don't think it's overtly difficult to say that they'd be able to contain the Eagles. And this is a kind of a yearly matchup for them at this point. And the Eagles have relied primarily on the run game this year and the tush push. So if they kind of
tush push and just throw it 50 yards downfield to AJ Brown.
That's so offense. I mean, if you can figure out a way to stop that, then I think that they win. And also, like Rishi Rice has started to play well. Travis Kelce. I mean, if Taylor Swift is there, arguably even if she's not there, because he might see DeAndre Swift and be like, oh, that's Swift connection.
Swift.
So there'll be a Swift at the venue at least. And because of that, he'll play well. So, I'm just expecting them to be able to step up.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd say, last one, Bengals Ravens. That's divisional game. I like to throw everything out the window there. I went Ravens there. I feel like even though despite last week the choking to the Browns, I still feel like the Ravens have just been playing complete football over the past month or so.
So this is one of those things we talked about where you split the series. All right.
Yeah.
Bengals lost the first game, which was not even my attention when I picked them, but the Bengals over the last 5 weeks, and that obviously the Texans kind of just everything kind of disrupted that, but over like the last 4 or 5 weeks have gotten really hot, and they've also shown that they've kind of figured it out, and they've been able, like, even versus the Texans, they were losing pretty substantially, and they came back and they got into the game. And while they did lose, to me, arguably losing that game and coming back helps them going into this week rather than coming off kind of like a big emotional comeback win going into this week. Okay. And they only lost that game versus the Ravens by 3 points.
Yeah, that is true too. And I mean, early season Joe Burrow,
doesn't exist.
We just know how bad he is now. So you do got to take it with a grain of salt. But yeah.
Last thing, Mac Jones, about to be the third string quarterback for the Patriots, and Bill Belichick about to no longer be the head coach or GM of the Patriots. I know you said that you thought it'd be a cool idea for Mike Vrabel to get an offer there and come over, which would kind of be like a college job, like Lincoln jumping over to USC from Oklahoma. But I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, raise 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett Takes and at Waterboy Grant. We post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Make sure to turn on notifications on YouTube so you don't miss a single episode. We post new TikToks every day, honestly every day at this point, because Grant keep forgetting to post on Sundays and he posts on Mondays. We post new graphics on Instagram 2 times a week. You don't want to miss those lists. They are exclusive to Instagram. All right. You do not want to miss those. We've started posting top 10s and everything on Instagram instead of TikTok. All right. We know those things are popular. We want you guys to populate the Instagram page. So go on over there. Make sure to follow us at the Waterboy Pod. All right. We will see you guys in the next episode in Rivalry Week. Grant versus Michigan Men Part 2 ? We'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.